Welcome to part 5 of this multi-part video series on how I created this multimedia work. Today we're going to talk about color theory, the color choice that I came up with, as well as we're going to do a little watercolor that has to do with the history of ukiyo-e prints, Japanese prints. Okay, so I've got the print on here, and right now what I'm doing is I'm getting this ready to start painting on it. And what I want to do is I want to find out what really the color scheme is going to be. So the nice thing about this kind of paper is I can pick up the colors that are in this paper. It's a little washed out in the video, but you can clearly see them here in regards to value and color hue. So the overall general color is this color here that I found. And this is a very light part of the color that you find in this paper. And also there's a lot of gray in this paper too. So there's gray over here coming through here. And so there's a shade here, this gray shade is throughout this. So you can sort of see the value structure that this paper has. Now, I picked up also that there's this orange in here, and it's a really nice orange, and so I've found this. Now, these are color aids that I've had for a long time, and they really help me. But you can buy, you can buy these color aids, or you can also get them from paint stores where they give you a whole swath of different kinds of paint and color. And but I've also found some other areas in here that I found was a deeper greenish kind of color, and even in the green in the tree. And so I found this color that matches up to that. So what I'm looking at here is the color scheme that I want to use for when I start painting. Now, let's do a little color theory here. And I always like to do this when I'm working on a painting like that. Okay, so let's look at the primary colors. So we have red, yellow, and blue. And then if we look at the secondary colors, if I combine red and yellow, I'm going to get orange, and blue and yellow, I'm going to get green, and blue and red, I'm going to get violet or purple, however you want to call it. And so this is my color wheel, essentially my color wheel. On the inside is the lightest area. On the outside is the darkest area. So if I want to go from light to dark, I go out this direction. If I want to go within my colors, I look at where my color swaths are. So if I look at this one is a yellow orange, and it's a fairly light tint. So yellow orange, so it's kind of like in this area. Let's just say it's here, yellow orange. Okay, and if I look at this one, it says yellow, but you can see it's green. It's kind of a greenish color in here, and that happens when you add black to yellow. You get this really gorgeous green. I love this green for landscape painting and any type of foliage. It's a very warm, nice color green. If you use like a pure green, it doesn't look natural really. So this is a really nice color. So I'm going to call this more of a yellow green. So that would be in this area, yellow green. So if I want to look at the opposite color, on the other side of this color spectrum, I have a blue violet here. And if I look at the yellow green and I go to the opposite, I have a red violet. Okay, so let's see if I can find a good color aid that's an opposite to this color, and I'm doing that so that I can really highlight the color, make that color bounce. So I have my color aids. Over here is the red violet, and that would go against the yellow green. And over here I have the blue violets, and that would go against the yellow orange, this yellow orange. So let's start over here and see which shade do I really like on this. This is too light. See that? It's too much of a contrast. This is too dark. It really darkens that. It would make for a really dark painting. I think really the middle tone here is the best. And it seems to be the best complement for that color. This makes that color more intense. This makes this color more intense. You see there? That's what opposites do. And so that's kind of the way we are. We get attracted to the opposites. And so if I look at this, this isn't bad. It's fairly light though. If I look at this middle tone one, yeah, it gets a little dark, and that's really dark. So I'm actually going to go on the light side with this one. And again, this is the blue violet. So this is what I'm going to use for my color scheme. If I'm trying to pay attention to where I am value-wise, I'm really kind of in this way. I'm not real dark. I'm not real light. I'm really in this range. So this is sort of the range that I'm going to be in when I do my painting. And we can also look at this as, we can split this down the center. And on this side is the warm. On this side is the cool. So that's the whole idea of color. What hue is it? Is it light or dark? Is it warm or cool? That really tells you everything about what you need to do as far as using color and finding color when you're outside painting or any of those type of things. So again, it's what color is it? Is it light or dark, or is it warm or cool? So one thing that I really enjoy are ukiyo-e prints. Ukiyo-e prints are prints done, it's a woodblock watercolor technique done by Japanese masters. And I love the way they do their color scheme. It tends to be fairly simple, but very sophisticated. And one of the things I really love is this gradation that they have within their pieces. You see they have a red gradation to this very warm pinkish color here. They have a gray gradation going into the blues. They have the gradation at the bottom with the blue of the water. Same over here. Lots of gradations. Gradations meaning going from one color to another color, or one value to another value. A very high key to a very low key. And so I love the way they do that. And so I'm going to use that technique on this, just to kind of lay in an idea of composition from top to bottom. So we've done our homework in regards to color. These are our color schemes that we're going to use. And I think what I like to do is, I think I'd like the Ukiyo-e print that shows the red on top. I really love this idea of the red. I'm going to probably use this idea here, and maybe even doing a red band of gradation here. And at the bottom, I really love the blue, more of the blue. So you can see how I'm already starting to use this color scheme to determine how I'm going to lay my color out. A lot of times you'll see things where you don't really see what goes into doing these colors, but hopefully from this video you'll start to get an appreciation of how the artist goes about choosing their color. So let's do that. First, what I want to do is I want to just get the paper damp. So I'm just going to get this paper damp in here. Makes it a little bit easier when I start to lay in that color. You'll see the paper changes, but I'm not worried about that. I just want to get it damp. Okay, that's all I need to do. And I have my watercolor palette. And so again, like I said, I'm going to try and work on sorry, I had the fan on, but anyway, I'm going to try to create this kind of color here. So I've got some orange here. I've got a little bit of counter color, so I'll start working on trying to create that color. So you can kind of see my process for doing that. Yeah, that kind of gets it right away, doesn't it? Let's get some water in here. Because I want it to really be more of a wash. I'm just adding water to kind of create that gradation. Paper's very delicate, so I can only work with it so much at this stage. Get some more water in there. Get a little more intensity of this yellow, this orange. Okay. I'm gonna start bringing in some of that red that we saw in that print. Just let it do its thing too. All right. A little more of that orange in here. There we go. Okay, so that's really nice in there. And you can see how that creates that nice lightness that's in here. Of course, it's got to dry. So now we're going to go with the bottom section here. And that bottom section, I think we decided to do more of the blue. Yeah, it's more of this kind of color in here. We're going to do that in here. So that's going to require us doing a very light blue in here, but this blue is quite intense. Let's see if we can produce that blue. You can see how helpful that is, having that. Having that reference. Okay, this is fairly dark, but when we put it on the paper will come through. Yeah, we're getting closer to, you know, yeah, it's definitely on the violet side here. See that? Okay, I think I need a little more red in that. Let's just let the water flow with it. I'm just flowing with this. And that's okay. It's kind of turning out to be a little bit of the gray. So I'll put a little warm in there. Not a lot. I really do want the blue. Yeah, let's get a blue, darker blue gradation in here. This may all be covered by the time I'm done. But it does set up my plan. You know, I have a plan, but allow it to change as you work with it. I still like the blue. Even maybe highlight this shadow that's underneath it like that. There we go. Something like that. I kind of want to get it really, really nice purple in here. There we go. It really contains the work. Brings the focus into here with that kind of gradation. All right. Let's make it smooth. And you can see how remember I used medium on here when I did the print, and so that was the edge of the jelly plate, and that medium is on the paper, and you can see how it changes it a little bit. That's kind of interesting, and it was kind of nice. This was an accident on the jelly print where it transferred to the paper. So these are really kind of happy accidents that happen. I call them happy accidents. But the nice thing about doing mixed media is that you really want the medium to kind of speak to you as you're working it. I'm going to do a little bit more, get a little darker in here. This bottom, a little more intense blue. There we go. You could also do neat stuff in this where you basically you tilt your paper. So I could actually tilt my paper and get some runs in it. See that? Get some runs in it. Go back up here. Get a little more intense on the red up here. A little more pigment here. And then water, lots of water. And then tilt the paper. And let things run. Let things do what they want to do. Creating different patterns. Okay. That's all I want to do right now. And I'm just going to let this dry. And you'll see once it finishes up drying, then you'll really see how this water stain and how this using using this idea that the Ukiyo-e Prints have is the idea that I'm going to use for at least tinting the paper. Hope you enjoyed that. Part 6 will be on how I create the background. I'll be using acrylics and stencils to activate the background. I'd really appreciate a like and subscribing to my channel, as well as if you would like to support me, you can do that on Patreon. I often post on Instagram my artwork as well as bonsai work. But I'd like to leave you with the idea that art is a journey. It's important to enjoy the process.